My father was the best human being I have ever met. Just let that statement sink in for a minute. My father was the best human being I have ever met. In most cases, such a declaration could easily be dismissed by those listening as emotional hyperbole about the deceased. But when it comes to Ray Larsen, it made you stop and think, was Ray the best human being you've ever met? That's how good my father was. Taken from us way too early, Ray Larsen's earthly life started on the east side of Kenosha as one of Helen's twins. Great things come in small packages, and Ray started out small. A mostly obedient son of Helen and Jack, and a loving younger brother to John, twin brother to Ruth, and older brother to Jeff, Ray was the beneficiary of a great family around him. The neighborhoods, first on 10th Avenue and subsequently on 7th Avenue, were Ray's playground, as the Larsen kids were sure to be in on whatever was going on, while Helen and Jack teamed up to make ends meet. There is no doubt that his parents' perseverance would serve as Ray's template for the next 5 decades. At St. Joseph High School, he met Debbie Rizzo, and the two became inseparable in late 1967. The duo were highly involved in school, and especially in theatrical productions. With high school in the past, in the summer of 1969, Debbie was serving a nursing rotation when her and another girl in the program were standing outside the newborn room staring at the babies. My mother recounted this week that her nursing school friend was contemplating marriage to her longtime boyfriend and asked her about Ray. Debbie said she didn't know if Ray's thinking marriage, but joked it would help because he's who she wanted to father her children, because she hadn't met anyone who would be a better father than Ray. But they had to get married first, and doing so was a little tougher than it should have been. Originally scheduled for a September 1972 wedding, the University of Wisconsin system moved up the start of the school year. Ray was going to be entering his final year at UW. The stressful last-minute rescheduling and the generosity of this parish opening up festival weekend for a wedding, which it had never done previously, turned out to be an enormous blessing to Debbie and Ray. Each year, the couple was able to celebrate their anniversary with friends and family on the festival grounds. Blessed with children, first Jennifer, then Michael, then Michelle, Debbie and Ray carved out their family spot on Kenosha's north side. My father's spontaneous nature continued to wow my mother even after the pressure of being a provider was applied. Mom recalled how Dad would come in from working in the yard, and no matter what either were doing, if a good song was on, they'd just start dancing. With a young family to support and a profession already chosen, Ray believed it was his responsibility to keep independent pharmacy vibrant. He didn't want to spend his life working for someone else. And so he pitched Debbie, his parents, and his in-laws, Francis and John Rizzo, on his vision for purchasing Mayor Drug. Their collective faith and belief in Ray at the time was a debt my father repaid for the rest of his life. Long days at work and late dinners became a theme. Ray's passion for service often won out. Family vacations were few and far between during our childhood, but Ray always made time to read to us and encourage us to pursue our passions. We were also the biggest witness to his generous spirit. A few highlights. Jennifer recalled with fondness their annual attendance to St. Joseph's father-daughter dance. In young adulthood, Michelle and Dad would attend at least one 1960s band concert a year. For me, I know I could always go to my dad for anything. He was the ultimate sounding board for me, whether it was work-related or as I built my family of my own with Bridget and Ray's grandchildren, Kayla and Kyle. One of the biggest testaments to Debbie and Ray as parents is how our friends viewed them. For the last 20 years, if a friend of ours was getting married, Debbie and Ray were on the guest list. They made time to touch all of our friends' lives, whether we were in grade school, high school, or college. But Ray wasn't just a leader of our family. He was the leader of multiple families. There was the Mayor Drug Larsen Mayor Pharmacy family and its extended family of customers, the Kiwanis Breakfast Club of Kenosha family, and the Holy Rosary Parish family. With each of these hats he wore, Ray humbly served with a selfless nature. These weren't jobs or hobbies. Ray threw himself into everything he did. If he got involved with an organization, you were part of his family. And if there was something that needed to be done, anyone in his families could count on it getting done. Ray had an innate ability to bring people with entrenched positions together to find common ground. He'd listen, Truly listen to those in need and find solution to their problems. Ray's selfless nature and generous spirit and willingness to follow through made him a fixture in the Kenosha community and beyond. His impact on all of us is immeasurable. There were many kind comments last night, and many that normally could just be chalked up to visitation hyperbole. After 6 hours of people recounting personal stories of Ray in their lives, you know it isn't an exaggeration. There was one set of comments that stuck out. I did receive a few, "You have big shoes to fill." After everyone paid their respects and we returned home, I got to thinking, I don't have big shoes to fill. We all have big shoes to fill. Because while Ray was truly one of a kind, it doesn't have to stay that way. Each and every one of us that have been lucky enough to have known my father have a great opportunity. Some would say responsibility to honor his spirit and memory by incorporating a little more selflessness into our daily lives. There's no doubting my father's immense worth to his families on earth. So why in the world was he taken from us with seemingly much, much more to give? Leave it to my father to cover those bases for us too. At age 23, my father's 16-year-old cousin Mark died in a quarry swimming accident in California. For obvious reasons, the death shook up the family. My grandmother brought to my attention that Ray had penned a passage for his aunt, uncle, and cousins. It was subsequently used in their church bulletin. Here is the passage with my gentle edit inserting my father's name in place of cousin Mark's. Ray's cross of life is over. He has achieved the final goal we all seek. The problem is that those of us left behind find it hard to reason out why he was taken. Was it some kind of punishment? On the contrary, he has now achieved his reward of life on earth, eternal life. So now we draw to self-examination as if to find cause. Although no real cause is ever found, may it serve to strengthen your relationship with those left on earth, each one of us seeking our eternal goal through managing our own individual cross. Peace in your heart and your mind. It is as profound now as it was 4 decades ago. Thank you, Pops. We will miss you.